All right, what's up, everybody? This is basically how to rebuild an ABC pump. Now, I already have this pump out, so if you need to know how to get this out of the car, there are a couple different threads on that. I did only find one pertaining to how to actually rebuild this unit, but I wanted to go into a little more detail just because I encountered a couple things along the way that I guess I wish I had known beforehand. So I want to just start everything off by saying once this pump is out of the car, the hardest part you're going to have to deal with is this pulley. It is near impossible to get off, at least with basic puller tools and like a propane torch. I couldn't get it hot enough. I'll be honest with you, just take it to a machine shop. The guy charged me 20 bucks. It was done. It's off. I'm going to have him press it back on if I can't get it myself. However, this inner shaft is threaded. So technically you could put like a plate with the right size bolt in there and crank it on. I might try that. I might not. I'm not sure. I might just give it to him, just let him deal with the pulley side of things. But you can rebuild this pump for much less than buying a refurbished pump and infinitely less than buying a new pump from Mercedes. So let me show you kind of what's going on. Once you get this off, this cover up top mine was kind of pushed down, if you can see, like onto this the actual unit itself, this cover was, and it kind of bowed the edges out a little bit. I'm not sure if they're all like that or not, to be honest. That's just how mine was. But you can smack this off. I just used a piece of wood and a mallet, and I just basically, this pops right off. Okay, now inside here, you have basically, what do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, I think 7 of these guys. So these are little hex heads that slide right in here, these little plugs. Now, I had a really rough time with these. I couldn't clamp the pump itself down enough to put enough force to turn it. So I tried the impact on like the smallest setting, and I took out almost all of them except for 3. So guys, do not use an impact on this. It's just way too crazy. Try and think of another way. Use it, ideally like a vise or something would be great when you're working on something like this. So I have 3 of these that are seized in here. So if you look, you can pretty much just pull this off once that cover and the bolt is off. So let's just put this aside and we'll talk about this guy for a second. So on this guy, you have a few different things going on. So up front, you're gonna have 1, 2, 3, 4 of these bolts. Now, I'm not going to give you exact sizes. If you're tackling something like this, you know, that should be like the least of your concerns. But they look like this. I don't honestly remember what size they are. There's 4 of them. Once you pull those, you can pull this whole piece right off, just like I did. So you want to do a few things. So this guy up top, this seal needs to be replaced. All of the seals for this unit you can purchase from, what was this place called? It's called Invasion Auto Products. So let me just kind of black out my address and stuff like that. Invasion Auto Products, and it looks like that. And for mine is a 2004 S600, and the kit that I ordered this is the barcode right there. MCZ ABC Seal K. ABC Pump Seal 1. Was 89 bucks. So significantly less than I would have spent pretty much in any other situation trying to rebuild this thing. So in that kit, you're gonna get most of everything you need. I'll cover a couple minor details that I didn't see in that kit, and we'll kind of get those out of the way. But however, this first one is super easy to replace. Just put something in here, smack it out. You deal with a flathead. That was the first guy I tackled, this blue one right up front. Next, there is one O-ring right here. Now it goes in the second spot because in front of this cover there's actually this clip, and that's what would ride in that second area. So you don't need to put an O-ring there. Yeah, don't mess up and put an O-ring there. You'll be wasting it. It goes somewhere else. Then you have this big guy at the bottom right here. That is also in the kit. So you got 1, 2, and 3. All of those are in the kit. Perfect. Now, when you look inside here, The way these, let me actually set one up just so we can kind of see like how this works. But it's basically, the inside of this plug looks like that. So plug goes in, and then you basically have a spring inside like this. So there are going to be about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 of these, 7 springs that you're going to need. And they sit in here. And then on top of that spring, there's a little piston. And it's going to be roughly like that. This isn't seated. I'm not going to push it in all the way because I don't want to do that yet. So that's essentially how this pump operates. This cam, basically camshaft looking guy, spins around, moves these pistons on these springs. The problem with this is that 90% of the pumps that at least I've heard of or seen rebuilt or heard of issues with, these springs are completely broken. So you probably have a combination of O-ring problems within the pump that are causing it to leak, but you might also have these broken springs. If you have these broken springs, you cannot buy them from Mercedes, to my knowledge. I don't believe this is a serviceable pump. This is just kind of, you're going at it vigilante style, I guess, with this kind of repair. So I have one usable spring. The rest of them are completely just destroyed. They were in pieces, absolutely in pieces when I took them out. All of the pistons looked completely compressed other than this guy. So how do you get these springs? So here's what I came up with. There's one thread on a rebuild for this pump, and there's not, he detailed it pretty well, but he also used like somebody else's pics, and they're not like always the best angles. You can't really see everything he's trying to tell you. So, but he did leave the specs for the springs. So I was able to go to what's it called? McMaster Car. So that is the company and all their information there. So go to McMaster Car, and what you're gonna want to get is this. This is the closest specs that are available for this spring. 125 long, 0.36 outer, 0.26 inner. I got 2 packs of 6, so I had 12, just so I had extra. Now, lining these springs up, putting this spring next to the spring that was in the car, it is off a little bit. It's off by maybe 1 turn there. So I'm gonna clip them down, basically probably 1 full spin, and then I'm gonna reinstall these. So these, I'm pretty sure I got the spring diameter correct. So the force should be the same, very close. I'm gonna find out. I'll be the guinea pig for this. I really didn't want to buy a refurb pump. They're not too crazy, but the lower end is, you know, who knows, maybe it'll last a year, maybe it'll last 2 years, could last a month, could be dead on arrival, you never know. So I figured it would be best to try and rebuild this one, so that's what I'm gonna do. So let me put these springs to the side and I'll show you kind of what's next on it. So springs are aside. At this point, you should have most, if you can, get all of these plugs out. As I said previously, I was not so lucky. I do have 3 that are stuck in there, but what I'm gonna try to do is just put the springs and pistons in from the inside, which should be completely fine. There's really no reason that shouldn't work. A little bummed out I couldn't get them all out, but such is life, so that's fine. So let's set this guy aside. Next, I would actually start by flipping this unit over, and you're gonna have 1, 2, 3 bolts here. Is it 3? Yeah, 1, 2, and 3. They're gonna be Torx. They're like I don't know, 27 or something, maybe not, I have no idea. They look like this. So you got 3 on the back. So those are gonna come out and you're gonna be able to separate this shaft from everything else that's going on back here. So let's put that guy aside and let's look at what we got going on here. So you have a few things. You have this one, you have this collar that rides on the shaft. All right, so let's just pull the collar and the shaft out, put them aside. You want to be mindful, there's a washer that sits right on top here. You take that out, put that aside. You can tell mine's like a little worn down, so you can see that there definitely should be a washer there. So there are 2 O-rings on this main like shaft. I wish I knew the right terminology for exactly every piece in this pump, but unfortunately I don't. So I'm just gonna kind of try to wing it. You want to be really, really careful when you take these 2 O-rings out, because what I found is underneath the O-rings there's actually a second kind of like plastic ring that's in there, and that seems to bridge the gap, so you can run this O-ring. So it's definitely important. It definitely should be there. I had the top of mine actually split a little bit, unfortunately, so I put a little bit of gasket maker in there just to kind of keep it together, and then I pressed the O-ring on top. Now that's 100% not ideal. You're definitely going to want to try to keep those intact and not do that. I hope this doesn't leak, but I don't know for sure. The only reason I'm winging it is I've had absolutely no luck figuring out even the name of this secondary like washer, or like, I guess it's an O-ring as well, but it's definitely much tighter, and it's like a different material. It's like almost kind of clear. Never seen that before, so just be mindful of that. You're gonna have a washer or a O-ring here. You're gonna have an O-ring here, and you're gonna have a big one that goes around this edge. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on this big guy. Other than that, I think we're done on this. So put that aside. Now you got the rear end of this pump, and you got kind of a lot more, well, not a lot more going on, but you do have a few things going on here. So let me bring you up to speed. So, oh, I got an O-ring stuck in there. There we go. Okay, so you got right off the bat one more little guy here. Just stick that in there, and then you got this cartridge. So this has O-ring on one side, O-ring on the other side, and then it has another here and another right here that rides on that outer lip. So both of these O-rings on this guy go on that outer lip right here, not on the inner, outer, not on the inner. And then you have 1 and 2. You also have this like pressure kind of washer thingy, which you can see sits in these grooves like so. And this side faces down. So that side's gonna go in here when you put everything back together. What else I got? I'm trying to think of what else I can tell you about this process that I found or you know, was different or interesting to me. But to be honest, it's pretty straightforward. I can't see why anybody would ever spend thousands of dollars on one of these pumps, to be honest. If this rebuild works, hopefully so, fingers crossed, I'll definitely update. But yeah, between this, which was about $100, including, well, I had to get obviously the rebuild, like the gasket kit, but I also had to order the springs. The springs were about 20 some bucks, and about 80 something for the gasket kit itself. You're looking at about $100 to take everything apart, completely rebuild it, and reseal it and get it in the car. So overall, $100 for, you know, some of the cars these come in. I mean, this is coming out of an S600. It's a 12-cylinder twin turbo. I mean, this is something that's, you know, notoriously insanely expensive to fix, but there's always ways like this. You can always make something happen with, you know, a much lower budget if you're willing to, you know, learn something and try something new. The way I look at it, this pump, you know, if it's beat, it's coming out of the car, right? I mean, I got to do a new pump anyway, so why not try and invest a little bit of time and effort and small amount of money into rebuilding this first. So also, let me show you, I do want to show you this one thing. In this guy, I actually skipped a step. So there are actually two seals, and I want to show you how they go together, but I think I ditched the old one. I think I got rid of part of the old one. So, but all you need to know is this: when you're looking inside it from this angle, right, this guy, from like the front, you're gonna take this blue seal, and this blue seal has 4 feet on it, like that, okay? Then there's a black seal that's gonna go down in here first, that has basically, well, actually, I'm sorry. You know what? This is the other seal. So you can see right here. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4. The female end facing up, if you're looking at it this way. This guy is going to be facing down when you put it in. And you're going to get all those feet to line up. The way I did it is I put it in like this. I used my pinky, moved it around until it felt like it was seated, and then slowly took my pinky out, and the shaft is actually going to press it back in. Here's the blue guy on the shaft. Mine stuck to that. So I kind of just wiggle it around when you put it back in, and it should be good to go. That's pretty much it, guys. I hope this video helped somebody. I'm definitely very excited to get this back together and in the car. Another thing to note, upon taking everything out, you want to look at this shaft probably first and just make sure that there's no thick, like no grooves in it that can catch your fingernail. I don't know if this pump would work, like how worn it could be and still operate, but I'm looking at this how I would look at like a camshaft, and it's almost acceptable. It seems pretty good. There's like a spot here where it's a little bit rougher, but overall it seems solid. I did see a couple pictures of these where they're just like completely torn up. So if this thing's been banging around like crazy, I would probably suggest just ordering a new pump at that point. So maybe pull the pump, take it apart, check this shaft, see the condition of it and just how everything looks inside aside from the seals and springs, and then kind of make a decision from there. You want to basically make sure that your fingernail isn't going to catch on anything. That's at least how you would do it if it were, you know, a cylinder or a camshaft or any like machine work kind of thing. You're going to want to basically feel for that. That would be your unit of measure, I guess. So make sure this isn't busted right off the bat. But otherwise, guys, this is straightforward.